Everyone, Dave Giuliano here. I'm here with another weekly roundup. We're going to take multiple time frame views on some select crypto price charts. You look at the Bitcoin, some altcoins, and we'll look at some levels and trends. Okay, here we go. Let me share the screen. And we look first at the Bitcoin on the weekly, get a sense of what could happen. So on, oops, yep, there we go. On this price chart, recently we've had a move down to the local lows here, and it's kind of breaking down on lower time frames as well, which we'll look at. So there is definitely a good possibility of following lower and even making a lower low than here, and then finding a reaction to the upside and making the price further drop to lower lows and potentially bottomings of this bear market, which would continue a bit with some time, trying to get to the right side of this downtrending resistance, downtrend line. So there you have it basically on the weekly with the BTC. This is not guaranteed, and it definitely could just go straight down towards the lower end of the Bollinger Band. But yeah, there is also potential that it does go lower and then higher and then finally lower low. So those are some options. I don't know if there's strength to make it past this. It just doesn't feel like that yet. So anyway, yeah, that's the general sense of it right now. And then also when we check with the retracement levels, if we go from this kind of price action here where we start going impulsive quite fast, and it goes high up very far in price at a very quick rate. So it's a very fast, high impulsive trend type of movement. So we'll take it from there where it starts from, which is roughly around here, okay? And we will take it to the top price action. And when we look for the 88.6 retracement, it's around there. Okay, so if we're like right here, you see this, depending how precise you want to be, you can either go from, this wick down here or this big body candle, but that gets fully retraced. So even, we'll take it from here for fair. And there is your 88.6 roughly around there. So it's this price region, this price zone, which looks reasonable for a move at some point within the next 3 to 6 months. And yeah, that'll be interesting. Of course, it's not necessarily guaranteed. And instead, there could be a bottoming found here and then crossing this downtrend, the pink downtrend, crossing it to the right side from this level up here. But yeah, there is definitely a good call, good reason for seeing price action down lower here. And when we look, let's say on the daily price chart, what would that mean for us? That would mean that on the daily, the price action has finally brought us back down to the previous lows of closing candles here. And now we are fighting that. And on lower time frames, we'll see that we could definitely be testing here, but now we're at the lower end of the Bollinger Band. So, I mean, really, how much lower are we going to go? We could make lower lows. And again, then there's that potential move to go higher and test some things, test Ichimoku cloud, whatever. But even that is looking weak at this time. So maybe it's not a move down and then a move up and then a bigger move down, but maybe it's a that which would look something like that. I mean, yes, definitely possible, but it could just be a move down here, a move up here, and then just further downside, and not really even testing this range of price action here. Okay, so that's the BTC. On the daily, it's looking like let's get this. It's looking like it could turn into some positive momentum, but definitely on the daily, it could also continue with the negative momentum and just dump further. So yeah, I do see we're at the lower end of the Bollinger Band. There is an ability for the price to rebound up and then come back down, but But when we look here at the 4-hour time frame, and we break it down so that we're like now at the closing of the 4 hours, which is much lower than the closing of the daily at a lower level, we see that the price was hanging out and it was having a tough time getting back above this mid-range level of the bigger range, which is basically coming from this price action here. Yeah, it was below it and then it dumped down. Now we're below the mid-range of these two levels here, this level here and this level here. And the price actually broke below that mid-range and now is retesting it on the 4-hour at the lower end of the Bollinger Band. So yeah, there's definitely room to come down towards this 18,000 level, find support there, and then take a move higher. Or if you start on the lower time frames, like a 4-hour chart, start breaking down here, then you know that you're in for a lower ride sooner. So this can help, this 4-hour chart can help determine where are some key time frame levels and movements that would indicate for, for a daily or a weekly chart where it might end up in the near term. So anyway, that's the weekly for BTC. Those are the general thoughts in terms of the trend and down, and in terms of the levels horizontal. Here's again the 88.6 is around here, around the like 12,000 levels. And yeah, so let's see what happens. Does BTC hit the 88.6 off of its big move up from low to high? Now, if we're looking for an 88.6 off of the what are called COVID lows here, then that's the March 2020 lows, then you're looking at a much lower price. And I don't know if that's, I mean, it's totally possible, but then we're looking more like a 61.8 at this level here, which was called out around 12,000s. Otherwise, the 88.6 is back at a $5,000 level, which is like around these price levels here, which, hey, if that's where it needs to go, that is definitely the next level that you might consider as a big support zone if it does end up breaking below the 12K. But anyway, that's, now we're getting a little ahead of ourselves. So I do think it's more so the, where you start from like this to where you end up and then retracing all or most of it. And 88.6 seems to be a good level. So that's our case for moving the price down here, is to find the 88.6 and to complete the cycle of low to high to low on a bigger time frame. And yeah, that'll be interesting. Okay, next, let's move on. We're going to take a look actually at the Pirate Chain against BTC. Here's the weekly price chart, Pirate Chain against BTC. And so there is some favorable price action these past couple of weeks, finding higher lows than the previous lows. So that's looking good. That's pretty sexy. And then, we're still below the 20-week moving average and whatever. It's just kind of local stuff happening here. But if, wow, here's the idea though. If you have your move down and then you have a reaction to the upside off the low, and then you come back down and you test that reaction and you build for the next move, which could arguably be higher, or at least, yeah, you would really want to be going higher than this, but anyway, than this previous move. But anyway, either way, this is setting up for some healthy behavior, and it's at a sweet level. When we go to our retracement tool, we'll just take it from the candle itself here, although we could go from, oops, roughly there. Okay, interesting. So it's between 61.8 and 78.6. And if we're just taking the closing level as a more accurate reading, then we're looking at a 61.8 here. So interesting Fibonacci levels to consider. And this is a weekly price chart on the Pirate Chain. Okay, so anyway, fascinating. Let's see what happens with the price action into here. But so far, it's looking half decent on the weekly. If we look at yeah, we've kept the same levels as the weekly chart, so we can look at that here. But if we keep this, look, we're at the lower end of the range. So we've gone up towards the mid range and come back down tested. So now the concern is, well, you couldn't really, you had a 200-day moving average rejection around the mid range, couldn't even really get there. And then what's next? Like now you're back below the Ichimoku cloud. And do you have the force to move up towards that 200-day and then potentially even break out towards the upper end of the range? And I would say, yes, you do have that potential, especially since when we're looking at it, we've made this series of this low and higher low. We did get kind of below this level here, which is not a perfect level, but whatever. It's back in to this bigger range, and now after the move up, move down, higher low, what it's doing is breaking down this downtrend here. Breaking out of this downtrend here on the daily price chart. So you have this kind of downtrend momentum, and you're starting to break out, and you see it. It holds that daily price chart holds the 20-day moving average nicely here, and then starts breaking up the Bollinger Band to the upside. So let's see if we can reach the Ichimoku cloud, and let's see if we can reach to higher highs and to reach eventually towards this one here, this downtrending, that downtrending resistance zone. So let's see if that's possible. That's just around the mid-range, and then can you get even higher? So that's the Pirate Chain on the weekly, and then on the daily, and it's looking as promising as it can be, really, all things considered. So you make this retracement from this big move from the downside all the way to the upside. Boom, this huge moonshot, come back down towards a good level here. Reaction to the upside, reaction now potentially, come back down, potentially react back higher. That's the idea, but at the same time, it's going to be a hard sell, like in terms of it'll be difficult to really get the force for that, I imagine. But we'll see. We'll see what Pirate Chain has on the weekly. Where is it going to go? And yeah, just hold this level here, and you're good to go. Otherwise, yeah, you start breaking down below this level significantly, lower into this Bollinger Band here on the weekly. You are looking at, maybe even sub 1000s if you can't hold this level at that point. So yeah, let's look for Pirate Chain to show us something exciting to the upside here. All right, but watch it on the lower levels, and watch for it to break down below the range that's set out between the price action. All right, that's about it for now on the Pirate Chain. Yeah, keep around, sticking around for more. And let's move over to ADA against BTC. It's getting a lot of talk because of the updates and upgrades and hard fork talk. And so yeah, we're on to daily already. Well, that's good. It's a good, decent price action on the daily. On the weekly, we are at the top of that Bollinger Band and at this potential resistance price zone. Top of the Bollinger Band, potential resistance as well. Either that, or it's an opportunity for, okay, the price is now ready to push higher and expand the Bollinger Band. And yeah, it looks decent. It looks decent overall. I would say there is definitely room for further momentum higher. RSI is above 50, so why not? Of course, it can turn around as well and find this as the resistance. So be very careful at this level, of course. And when we even look on the daily, yeah, of course, maybe it's going to continue higher, but also maybe it's going to start fizzling out. And so now is time for distributing and selling as the price fluctuates. But yeah, there is definitely the opportunity once you start breaking up to the upside of this level, then you're definitely looking for a push back up, looking at least to this level here, which is like the 3000s, and if not to the to hopefully to like the almost 4000 level. But that's a again, it'll be a difficult ask. Let's see, on the daily, we'll put, I mean, really, what kind of trend are we talking here? We're just really looking at this, aren't we? So let's see how that works, if that holds, or what's going to end up happening. But we can keep modifying it as we go along. And there you go. ADA price chart holding up well on the daily, and it's it's looking really good. But at the same time, it's out as a potential region of resistance, and so that means it just needs a closer eye. Just pay closer attention to it. What's happening with the price in the lower time frames, and and how that plays out here. Potential for more upside, let's say from this level here, roughly, say we make it towards the Ichimoku cloud. That's about a 3000 or 3200. You're another 30%. So if you've been, if you're trying to get in here, we'll see. That's up to you, obviously. But and on the weekly, you can see this is a big liquidity, region here where there was a lot of selling once it got up to this level here. And so even if it crosses that Ichimoku cloud, it might not close there. So this level is definitely a level of potential for turnaround for ADA, if it can even get there, because first you have this level to contend with. But again, keep an eye and watch for yourself. On the 4 hour, I think it's going to take a bit of time to do its thing. So I'm not going to worry about that one. We'll keep an eye on the daily and go from there. Okay, that's ADA against BTC. What else now is interesting? If you have any requests, put them in the comments. BNB, let's take. So BNB looking strong now. How much momentum does it have, and what will the price look like as the momentum wanes? We will see, but so far, it pushed the Bollinger Bands, expanding them higher here, and now it's kind of consolidating sideways, strong candles, and just kind of non-volatile sideways price action over the last few weeks after the big move up again from the just the retracement. So, and then previous to that was the breakout candle, nice big strong candle above the previous highs. So that's pretty amazing. The BNB price chart looking solid. Yeah, now in terms of the daily price chart, we are, let me show this better. We're potentially going to break into some positive momentum. I mean, it's been relatively positive, but it's interesting. You can see this degree of negative momentum on the daily price chart. But at the same time, it's really just this triangulating upwards movement. Now, the concern is that it's, well, it's not an upwards wedge yet, but you could argue these things, but it's like, okay, right now on the daily, we get this triangulation. What's going to happen? There's going to be some volatility probably, and it's dangerously close to coming to the downside. So, there's that. However, in terms of what we're seeing here, it is very close to breaking to the upside as well. So you really want to pay attention. And in terms of what we've been watching, in terms of that trend line, is still to the left of that upward trend line. So until considered otherwise, there's still some bullishness remaining in the BNB price chart. Maybe one more push higher before a turnaround. And when we look on the weekly, it feels like that's what's building up, but it might take some weeks, and you might come down first before pushing again higher, whatever it's going to be. We'll see how this ends up looking, but BNB so far so good, but on the weekly, definitely looking like some waning momentum on a longer time frame, and RSI pretty high. So I get the sense you're not going to last forever here on BNB, but does that mean the price is going to dump down to this long-term yellow trend line below this Ichimoku cloud? I don't know. I don't think so, but anything is possible. So keep an eye out on the BNB price chart, because things are going to get interesting over the next, 12 to 24 months for sure, but even like 12 to 18 months. So yeah, let's keep an eye out. That's the BNB on the weekly and the daily. Next, we'll look at some Ethereum as well. That one's pretty solid. Doing this kind of long-term triangulation. So what's going to happen here? You're going to break to the upside of this price action and this horizontal level, and expand the Bollinger Bands to the upside, or are you going to turn around and break down from here? Oh, this is the monthly price chart. It is giving us a bullish cross. So what are we going to get here? That'll be interesting. But anyway, on the weekly, we can look at some more horizontal levels and see how the price chart is indeed, after making that good support at the Ichimoku cloud, price chart has now made its way back to the upper end of the Bollinger Band. And it has, as we carved out recently, it has broken out above this downtrending resistance line to this, was to the right of that line. And yeah, now top end of the Bollinger Band, you're between, this kind of previous high level and the all-time high levels. So you're kind of right there near the top of that. Sorry, not all-time high, the most recent highs, and these would be 2021 highs of November against the BTC price chart. All-time highs are back here in the 2017 time frame, and then again these 2018 highs as well at the beginning, January 2018, beginning of the year. So yeah, there's the Ethereum price chart on the weekly. It's looking relatively strong. You definitely have momentum on your side and the capacity to go higher. So the narrative, the market is definitely paying attention to this price chart. Here we are on the daily. Let's see. So we did break to the right of this uptrend from here, and we made our further correction for another week or two here, and then lower end of the Bollinger Band, you get a bounce up. Now we're back at the top end of the Bollinger Band. Getting some resistance at this kind of top zone of price action, and you can see back on the daily how it relates really to this up here. And yeah, the next part is that deviation. So interesting price action all the way around. We now have this type of trend line to work with. So we're going to do that and work with that, okay? Keep that as an important trend line. And we're going to mark it in green. That's an important one there for us, okay? Amazing. So that's Ethereum on the daily and the weekly. Now, few more here. We've got XMR. Let's run over to XMR. Pirate Chain. We'll put Pirate Chain back to the weekly. We'll go to the XMR against BTC. I think we're checking Poloniex because it's got the longest data. Yes, we are. That's what I also boxed in here. On the weekly, I just want to review that monthly because remember that on the monthly, you're at the top of the Bollinger Band. So do you have what it takes to push up and push higher and get up to like this Ichimoku cloud level and previous price action here? Or are you going to be turning around at these levels? So that's the general question on the monthly. We can break it down and get a bit more of the trend on the weekly, and then we'll definitely do that on the daily. But the weekly has been just a solid push up for, basically since the beginning of the year of 2022, since February. Well, even in January, had to move up, or end of the year 2021 in December, but it came back down and basically fully retraced it. Okay, so yeah, you're at the top of the Bollinger Band. You're really looking to break to the upside of the 200-week moving average. and top of the Bollinger Band moving higher, like expanding it. So, and the top of the Ichimoku cloud here, really looking to push higher. And I think you got a good chance to get up here to this 0.01 levels. Oh, yeah, you definitely have a good chance to do that. Is it going to happen? We are not clear, but let's take a look at the daily. It's probably looking solid. Yeah, look at that. I mean, I don't know if this is the data for all of the price charts, but on Poloniex, you had a nice touch on towards the Ichimoku cloud, lower end of the Bollinger Band there. Anyway, let's see what happens. I mean, that could be a good sign, a bad sign. Let us see. So on the daily, we're going to watch this. This is your move since like the February timeframe. So we are going to watch this on the daily. I think we'll just use these bodies right there. So let's kind of watch that that trend line, and watch for that to break at any point, if at all. Nope, not liking that one. Okay, there's our XMR trend line. And yeah, let's see how that goes. Okay, that's the daily. You got this decent level that you're trying to hold here. So let's see how that continues. So XMR looking decent, but be cautious. Next, no, we don't want that. We want this. Okay. What else do we want to see? We would just check out quickly on DOT, check the weekly. So you've broken clearly out of this downtrending channel. I'm going to remove it. Kind of going sideways though. Going towards the top end of the Bollinger Band, drifting. I get the sense that you could experience volatility to the downside again towards this lower end, but we'll see what ends up happening here. See if the daily gives us any clues. Yeah, 200-day moving average. I mean, you're either going to get rejected here and fall back below the Ichimoku cloud, or you're going to find some bullish price momentum here in the 50s on the RSI. I don't see where what did we do here? Well, this is meant to, oh, there's your MACD. Yeah, I mean, it could definitely turn around and go higher on that momentum, MACD momentum, continue higher on the RSI. Or you've found your top here locally and you're going to get rejected at this 200-day moving average. So watch this price action around here. That'll tell you a lot. You've got a green Ichimoku cloud to the right. So if you can get above this 200-day, that would signal some decent price potential, and you're above the Ichimoku cloud. I mean, you can't ask for better than that, really. And what does the weekly say again? It says, yeah, there's room to go towards the upper end of the Bollinger Band. So why not? So yeah, let's see if you can get there. That's DOT. We'll check Solana. Sol, ooh, okay, yeah, some more sideways action with, because the candles are not red, they're green, and they're kind of generally small bodied, but people are getting their price action and trading, I'm sure. But yeah, back towards this 20-week moving average and probably get rejected there. Maybe you kind of make it to the side a bit before you go further down. And of course, maybe you're going to break to the upside of this downtrending resistance line, the green one. But I think the pathway that we've got going on generally, the general energy of this pathway seems to be playing out. So this is good for me. It's fine so far, so good. momentum looks like, yeah, okay, you can get some more positive momentum, but it'll turn negative again. And you got some more time to clear out this price action from this cycle. So it'll be interesting to see, though, what happens if and when the price makes it back down to these zones. All right, that's Solana on the weekly. On the daily, yeah, you got Ichimoku Cloud here. I don't think you're going to be, well, then again, if you are able to get above this price action here, above these levels, which is going to be tough resistance, but it could, then you're above the Ichimoku Cloud and it's green on the towards the right side here. And then you're getting challenging the 200-day moving average up here. So it's possible, but then even then, maybe that's you. It's not enough, and you don't further, or maybe you just don't even get a chance. You're now bumping up against the Ichimoku Cloud, bumping up against the top of the Bollinger Band. This could just be all that you've got remaining in the price action to the upside. So keep an eye on it. I mean, you could get some more positive momentum, but it seems pretty neutral and balanced as well. But the RSI on the daily is above. Yep, is above 50, so it could be going higher. Could be going higher. So watch out. I mean, yeah, this is maybe how the price gets up to here, and then it gets rejected. Who knows? But don't be surprised if you get some sort of little move up and then move down. Interesting. Okay, well, that's Sol against BTC on the daily and the weekly. Now, AVAX friends against BTC. It's the monthly. Yeah, looks like it's getting rejected by this downtrending resistance. We'll see. It's got the 20-week moving average also potentially rejecting it. Either that or the price is going to jump to the upside of the 20-week moving average and to the right side of this most local downtrending price action resistance, which is totally possible. But the other option is you start coming down towards the lower end of the Bollinger Band on the weekly. And on the daily, yeah, I mean, why not continue get rejected by this Ichimoku Cloud, a 20-day moving average? Well, one thing that you're arguing on the other side is that you could have this bullish MACD cross on the daily. So maybe you're going to play more into here, and maybe the price is going to come back up here first to the Ichimoku Cloud again and then back down. But maybe it's going to break through and test the 200-day moving average, and maybe it's not going to do that at all and just start falling back down very soon. But we've got potential for the momentum to move higher, so we'll see what that looks like in terms of the price. What I see here is that recently, you've got this kind of trending action and you've broken it down. So that means, okay, fine, maybe you've spent enough time below the trending price action, and now you can go back up again before turning back down. But yeah, on the daily, you also see how you just recently got rejected by that longer term trend. So likelihood of price generally staying on the lower side of things, that's higher. But on the weekly, as much as on the daily, the price could first jump over to the right side of this local downtrend resistance before then finding whatever lows it's going to make after that, which could be lower, even lower than these, or higher, or whatever. We're going to see with Adam. It's going to be interesting. Stick around for the next few weeks. There's going to tell us a lot. So, sorry, I said Adam, but I meant AVAX. And also Adam, which is coming up right after MATIC. Okay, with MATIC on the weekly, nice price action last week. So this downtrend is so far not relevant. We'll keep adjusting it once we find the high, but I'm not going to play with it right now. We'll just let something form and then we'll see. Clearly, there's this potential to go to the upper end of the Bollinger Band, which is just a little higher. And you got your good support above the Ichimoku Cloud. So yeah, MATIC. Wow, good price action. Good price action. Was the RSI going to be able to get higher? or is it the beginning of the end of this run for MATIC? So we're going to check on the daily. We'll throw in a trend line. So there you go. You have that one trend line that was broken to the downside, to the right side. It's an upward trend line. So when you break it to the right side, that means you're starting some sort of corrective or downward movement. So now what we've got is either this is just going to be top here and come back down, and you've just got this big correction and it's going to break down further, or find its bigger corrective support and then move higher, or it's going to keep going higher, and this is our new trend line that we're watching. So we're going to keep this here for now. This becomes the important trend line. This becomes our important trend line on MATIC, locally on the daily price chart. We're in a very bullish scenario generally, but after all of this positive momentum, it will turn around at some point. And to be fair, I have the sense that this is kind of probably be it. Maybe it's going to go a bit higher, but like just generally in this zone, it's going to be, as we saw in the weekly. Yeah, you could make it higher up to the top of this Bollinger Band here for sure. Lower end of these bodies and into this price action volatility here, but whatever, it's not much at this point. So we'll see what happens with MATIC. It's been going pretty well since you'd say middle of June, right? Okay, there you go. That's MATIC against BTC on the weekly and the daily. Then we take a look at ATOM against BTC, and ATOM is at the inside of the Ichimoku cloud on the weekly, at the top end of it, and yeah, it's getting a pause here. This is this week though, so we'll see what happens. It's going to get rejected here and turn back down. You're definitely trying to expand the Bollinger Bands to the upside, so there's certainly room to go higher if you can break above this Ichimoku cloud. But it's been going pretty strong again since the middle of June, similar to MATIC. And yeah, weekly, there's reasons for resistance, but there's also reasons for moves higher. So we're going to see what that ends up looking like on MATIC. We're going to get rid of this for now, though. And we're going to get rid of this for now. So there you go. MATIC has, its previous high price action, like key price levels here. So if it turns around here, it's no surprise. And if it breaks higher and then goes either to this level here, which is like 0085, or even like the 001 level, that's not surprising. But a turnaround seems reasonable in short timing. When we start looking at the daily though, maybe that won't be so true. You are, getting this potential for the bearish cross on the daily of the MACD. You've also spent, again, a lot of time towards the upper end of the positive momentum of RSI. Yeah, you're starting to make bearish divergence on the price and the RSI. So you're going to have to break that downtrend and you make higher highs on RSI. Otherwise, you're really going to be showing a at least temporary downturn. So here is your important trend line, uptrending line. Bearish divergence there. Let's change this color to that. And let us clone this. Oops. Basically create what we are possibly seeing as a rising wedge. So possible rising wedge on ATOM. So even if it starts going higher a bit, yeah, possible rising wedge, friends, on ATOM. If you're watching ATOM, just keep note for that. And in that case, they'll probably break down, and then you've got a concern about this bigger trend line. Does it hold, or does it more likely break down and you're going to retest 200-day moving average, Ichimoku cloud? And that's where you're really going to see if this can hold up. So that's Atom on the daily. Otherwise, you are down to this level here. If you could hold support at the 20-week moving average after going to the top end of the Bollinger Band from the lower end, then that's a beautiful price action. And then you have likelihood of moves higher again. But other than that, maybe we're going to have to keep watching on the Atom price action. Atom against BTC. Okay, what else? I think that's it for now. I'm done. And I hope you are doing well. I am wishing you all the love, peace, and happiness. Until next time, goodbye.